You gotta hand it to Yacht Club Games. It's crazy to think that Shovel Knight was released nearly 3 years ago and they're still making new and meaty bits of content to fulfill their Kickstarter stretch goals. Specter of Torment is their third playable campaign featuring a new character, new gameplay, and 2 to 4 hours worth of content. On paper that all sounds great, but does this new expansion continue to carry Shovel Knight's torch? Or is that flame starting to die out? Specter of Torment's story serves as a prequel to the events of Shovel Knight. This time around you play as the villainous Specter Knight, an undead ninja enslaved to the Enchantress. She promises to release you from her grasp if you go out to recruit 8 knights from across the land to build up her evil army called the Order of No Quarter. Specter Knight himself comes across as a tragic hero haunted by his past and in search of redemption. He's slightly more po-faced than the other heroes, but every now and then you'll get a glimpse of his more human side. The plot later adds a little bit of backstory to characterise Specter Knight through some playable flashback sequences. These scenes do a lot to add a bit of weight to your mission, and after seeing the first one, your drive to enlist all 8 knights gets even stronger. Yacht Club Games went well above the Call of Duty when it comes to fleshing out what was effectively a side character from the main game, but you'll probably end up caring for the characters a lot more than you expected to going into the game. Plague Knight also had a surprisingly good story. I'm glad they put the effort in this one too. Specter Knight himself handles very differently to the other knights. While he can't jump very high, Specter Knight can wall jump, scale certain surfaces and use his scythe to propel himself mid-air to attack enemies or objects. This dash attack makes up for the biggest change in the core gameplay, and it will totally make you rethink your strategy for each level as it can be used to get to places Specter Knight otherwise can't reach. It takes a few goes to master it, but once you get your head around it you'll be flying through levels in style. His ninja-inspired moveset complements some really creative and flowing level design, and by the endgame you'll be chaining multiple mid-air dash attacks to get across some perilous situations. While the levels take place in familiar locations, many of them have actually been completely changed for the new character. Mole Knight's level actually starts you off above ground, and the Lich Yard features a cursed village you need to fight your way through. These areas are completely new and they do a lot to breathe new life into paths well trodden for Shovel Knight veterans. Red curio skulls are hidden throughout each of the game's levels, and collecting them is the only way Specter Knight can get his hands on some new equipment to expand his arsenal. These are often tucked away behind secret walls within the game's worlds, and they're very challenging to collect. Each level culminates with a boss fight, some of which are slight remixes on now familiar fights. It's clear that these encounters were first made for Shovel Knight though, as Specter's mid-air attack can often lock in bosses for huge damage opportunities. Some bosses feel a little bit easy, while others will take repeated attempts the best. In between missions you return to the Tower of Fate, a hub world that has this great Curse of the Undead vibe to it, and there's a considerable amount to do here. Yacht Club's now signature charm is especially noticeable in the characters you can talk to here, and it's worth talking to each and every one of them just to see what witty things they come out with. The curio skulls I mentioned earlier can be traded in for new weapons here, but not before the player overcomes a short trial. These micro levels feel like they could have been fleshed out a little bit more, but they serve as a nice introduction to each new item, all of which feel viable and fun to use. Players that do a little bit of hunting around the tower can find the Endless Parapet minigame, the most demanding challenge in the game. Getting to the top will take you a few attempts, especially since it's procedurally generated, but it's an excellent bonus challenge that will really push you to the limit. Within the tower you can also access the Mission Select screen, which is laid out in a simple mini-menu. While it's nice to be given the freedom to tackle each level in any order you like, it's a little disappointing to see that the overworld map from the previous game has been scrapped. Specter Knight's campaign feels a little bit more distant and less anchored to the world because of this, and it's a shame that there's no real bonus stages in this game as a result, like there was in the previous campaigns. The music is expectedly excellent, with returning tunes getting a remix that really give each world a slightly more gothic tone. The energy and tempo is slightly up for each remix, complementing the game's slightly faster pace. My favourite tune would have to be the redone version of the Lich Yard, Specter Knight's Bass. The presentation of Specter Knight's world is distinctly darker. While Shovel Knight has more of a Mega Man feeling, Specter Knight is definitely more like Castlevania. The pixel art on show here is lo-fi and nostalgic, while the character design is clearly influenced by Tim Burton's work, giving this world of villains an infectious personality. Also, this one transition back to the main hub never fails to put a smile on my face. If I was pressed to compare Specter of Torment to the other 2 campaigns, I'd probably say that this one was the weakest of the 3. That's not to say I didn't have a blast playing it. Specter Knight is a worthy addition to Shovel Knight's treasure trove. The new playstyle and overall tone of the game gives it a unique identity within the collection, and it provides an unexpectedly good story that will urge you to see the experience through to the end.